Let me ask you this, Matt, first. Have the Packers done enough to convince you that they are Super Bowl contenders this season?
I will say I will be convinced if they win in convincing fashion this week because, the beginning of the NFL season is always a little fluky. I mean, case in point, I'm not saying they're them, they're obviously a better team, but like the New Orleans Saints also looked dominant in the first 2 weeks of last season. So, do I think the Packers are the Saints? Absolutely not. But if the Packers, say they get another blowout win this week, then I will be saying, you know what? Yeah, rest of the NFC North has some work to do. But I want to see this week if they can, kind of continue that sustained success, or if, teams are going to start kind of adjusting, especially with, Micah Parsons has been there now for a couple of weeks. We'll see if that defense can continue out its dominance. And I want to see, Jordan Love, who I am now tempted to put money down for an MVP, can
Wait,
continue
what?
playing at the rate he's
Wait,
playing.
what? Say it again.
I'm tempted to place a bet on Jordan Love for MVP. You called it, Stacey.
You made his day.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, people that's listening, before we started recording, I told Noah and Matt, I'm like, man, I'm lulling on energy, just working hard. That just boosts me up a little bit. Just confirmation that I'm on to something here. I'm on to something. But Matt, what is like a weak point with the Green Bay Packers that you want to see them improve on as the season progresses?
I want to see that wide receiver room, see if it can shape up to, or maybe someone like Matthew Golden, take that step to become the true number one. Now, they did just suffer a blow this week. Jaden Reed, I believe, just suffered a broken collarbone. So that's definitely not going to help. But I want to see if, like, whether it's Romeo Dobbs or Matthew Golden, I still want to see someone emerge as a true alpha in that wideout room.
Yeah, that was going to be my point too about the Packers. Looking at the statistics of the individual players, they only have one player in the top 50 in receiving. One. And that's Tucker Craft. And that was after Tucker Craft had one hell of a game the previous week in week 2. Somebody got to emerge as a true number one wide receiver. I don't know if you can win those big games in the postseason with Tucker Craft. Not knocking Tucker Craft whatsoever, but I don't think he's that game changer that everybody is afraid of. I think he's that tight end that's going to pop off every now and again, but he's not like, Travis Kelce, George Kittle type of levels. So somebody in that wide receiver room got to step up. Matthew Golden, everybody's high on him, but he's a rookie. So can you trust Romeo Dobbs to be a full number one wide receiver for a bit? What's going to happen with Christian Watson going down the line? Do they trust him to stay healthy? Like you saying, Jaden Reed, he was going through injury week 1. Now he got a broken collarbone. So even though I picked Jordan Love to win MVP, that's what's going to bog down his standings in the conversations. Just the wide receiver room is just, he got to make those receivers. He got to pull like a Tom Brady and make those receivers better than what they are on paper. So I mean, we'll see. And then also, I want to see that rushing offense improve a little bit. Josh Jacobs, he is leading the way rushing. I think he's top 10 in rushing yards. They average 106, 108 rushing yards a game. But Josh Jacobs is only averaging 3.6 yards per carry. And usually the average is 4 to 4.5. So definitely got to get some more yardage on the ground. That's going to definitely help out with Jordan Love. Take the top off the defense with play action. So they still got room to grow, but I mean, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. They 2-0 and still have room to grow. I think that's dangerous for anybody to go against in the league. Noah, do you think the Packers have proven throughout these first 2 weeks that they are Super Bowl contenders in the NFL?
I think that they have lived up to the expectations of them being a contender so far this season, given that they got blockbuster steal and Micah Parsons, and that defense is crazy stacked. By the way, those of you who don't know, like that, wow. I think so far the Packers are top 5 team in the league right now. I'm looking at their schedule. I think they could win like the next 6 games. I mean, they're at Cleveland, then they're at Dallas. They have their bye in week 5, early buys, which is kind of but after that they're home against the Bengals, then they're at the Cardinals, then they're at the Steelers, and then they're home against the Panthers, and then after that they played the Eagles. They got a good stretch of games there where they could really go like good 7-1 right there or something like that. But it's a good team right there, guys. They're stacked. And Stacey brought up a good point with Tucker Kraft being their leading receiver as of right now, with Jaden Reed going down, missing probably a couple months. I mean, that really says something about the scheme, and kudos to Matt LaFleur for breaking the allegations, dude. I got to give that man some respect, dude, because oh my gosh, he has really turned this organization around. He had all the doubt against him. Everyone said that he's no good after 2 years of just major fluking team, and nah, he's a great schemer, dude. Ever since Aaron Rodgers left, he's been flourishing. I love it. I do agree with you guys mentioning that the receiver room needs to step up. I think that's where Matthew Golden, the Romeo Dobbs, Dontavion Wicks comes in right there. Jacobs still a dog in the helm. So, yeah, I think if they keep the pace going right now, what they're going, they're definitely Super Bowl contender.
All right, and they play the Eagles November 10th.
That's like week 10 or something, right?
Something like that. And they are better than the teams they're going to play before then. Matt, do you see them running the table until November 10th, given the opponents that they're going against? Like what Noah was saying, you got the Browns this weekend, followed by the Cowboys, the Bengals, who are down Joe Burrow. We're going to talk about that. The Cardinals, who can be had, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Noah, you know they can be wow, or they could be, oh, my goodness, what the hell is going on? And then you got the Panthers, who can be competitive, but doesn't really know how to put together a full 60 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So do you see them running the table to November 10th, Matt?
I do with that strength of schedule. Now, that being said, I am a little weary when opponents do it, or teams have weak strength of schedules, because it has been kind of proven that it does come back to bite you in the playoffs. But in terms of like starting off like 7-1 or 8-0, I could definitely see it with this Packers team, especially since, the Bengals are going to be without Joe Burrow. The Cardinals, you're never quite sure what you're going to get from them. And, the Browns are the Browns. The one game I could see kind of going either way is maybe that Steelers game. We'll see what kind of Steelers team shows up that day. All I know is I'm going to definitely be watching that Eagles-Packers game, though.